is everyone doing today? Nice to see some of you already here with us. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Udesh. Hi, Karishma. Hi, Saranya. And we have the beautiful, the young, the enterprising Farida. Say hi, Farida, to
Hi.
everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Ms. Cheryl, for making this happen, I guess. So, yeah, I'm very excited to start this off.
So let me give you guys a bit of background. So this is the first time we are launching the Young and Enterprising series here on LinkedIn, on Facebook, okay, as well as YouTube. This is something I used to do in INTI International University at one point of time, and it used to be face-to-face, where we used to bring in young and enterprising individuals from the industry to come and talk to us about what they've done, where they've been. And the idea was actually because we feel young people are still at that moment where they're experiencing a lot of things and other young people can relate. So that's why we were doing it. And I hope you're inspired today by Farida. I am extremely inspired by her. When she first sat in my class, when was it? It's been one and a
Yeah,
half,
that's
maybe.
fun. Like 2 years, 2 years ago or 1.5 year ago.
Correct, right? Since then, and that point of time, I think I mentioned this on LinkedIn, right? I never knew Farida was like this, hotshot on Instagram, and she's been on 2 TED Talks. She climbed the Mount Everest. I never knew all these things about her, and she was just very low profile in class. Only later on, I think Miss Yi told me, do you know so and what happened and things like that, right? So let's start off with a bit of I have said some of it already, but maybe Farida, you can tell our audience who you are, what are you all about, and who is this Farida that we hear so much about. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, that's actually very interesting because usually, like, I might seem like I've done a couple of stuff in my life that I'm proud of course. But then at the same time, there's this part of me that says, my could be my happiest moment is eating my favorite brand chocolate. Like it's as simple as it is. So I just turned 20 a couple months ago. I'm a senior undergraduate student at INTI International University. And wow, okay. Well, I love climbing mountains. I love what I study. I love PR, communications, and everything that falls under this umbrella. So yeah, it's basically me as someone that loves to eat chocolate, and I do a couple of stuff like besides that.
So let's talk a little bit about this mountain climbing, right? I believe you were 17 years old, right, when you started embarked on this whole journey, right? Why?
Yeah,
And 17 seems to be like your lucky number. 17 is when you became financially independent. 17 is when you. So
it's my
can
life.
you
Yeah.
talk to us about why at 17, right? What was going on in your mind at that point of time?
Okay, so since I was a little girl, I remember that I've always wanted to do something extra. I don't know what it is, I don't know how, but I've always wanted to. I'd always close my eyes and listen to music, and then I keep telling myself, "Oh, one day I'll be doing something that I'm so very about it." And every time, I don't know, I used to open Google and just think of all the events that I could do and what are my interests. I wanted to discover myself more, so then I could dig into what I really love, and I took the discovery path. Um, but then the number of my age always reminded me that it's or maybe I was pressured by the society around me or the community around me. You're way too young. Each and every time I would sit with someone or a group of people that's like 5, 6 years older than me, and they are the only people that I would get along with. I don't get along much with people my age. Very, very rare cases that happen. They always say, "Oh, you're too young for this and that. You're too young to blah blah blah." So I've always felt a little bit insecure about it. And then when I started to, fall down emotionally and all my self confidence and stuff, I started to think, you know what, I need to do something about that. But then when people point out at me, they stop like telling me, "Oh, you're only blah blah blah." I've always had this issue up till now when I sit like with someone who's 26 and they tell me, "Oh, you're only 20" or like this. And then I sit and I keep quiet because I know deep down in myself, I'm 20, but man, I've done things that I'm myself is proud of. So like I feel better about myself now.
So Farida,
So
so you're
I think
saying
this is where
I'm
it all started.
20 and I'm fabulous. So the narrative has changed, right?
Yes. You can't tell me you're too young anymore. Like, I'm too young and I'm cool.
So would you say, because you were saying that in the beginning, right, when you were trying to explore and find yourself and stuff like that, people were saying, hey, you're too young, hey, you're too young. So one day you just said to yourself, no, no, that's it. I'm not going to be listening to people telling me these things. I'm going to go ahead and get what I want anyhow. Would you say that?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about this financially independence, right? When you talk about financials and
Mm.
independent, right? For me, when I was 17, that is like way out ideas, right? I didn't even consider or think about it. So what comes to mind? What are some words that come to mind when you think about the word financially independent or independence, right? What
I
does that
would
mean to you?
I would say responsibility, balance, and anxiety. These would be the three words that I would come to my mind. First three words that would come to my mind when it comes to financial independence.
Okay.
It
Can you
explains a lot.
explain further? Yeah.
Yeah. So for balance, because it's been always about balance. It's not at the moment where you get financially independent or you carrying yourself like a percentage out of what your parents would do with you. So once you're in, you need to have an ongoing balance and how to maintain what you've already done or what you've already achieved.
That's
This
a
is
good
very,
point.
very critical. Yeah. And for anxiety, of course it is because it comes with responsibility. And that's where you have to discover also what are your priorities. When do I save up the money and when do I break my pig and take all the money to do something that I love to do? It's as basic as it is. It's just the decision of me saving or saying, oh, I'm not gonna go snowboarding today, or me saying, oh no, I need the money because I want to travel with my friends for 4 or 5 days. This is when I take the decision of me taking out what I saved or letting it go. So this is where I had to discover more about what are my priorities, what makes me happy, what doesn't, what can I wait for, and what do I do not want to wait for. When do I tell my friends, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to do this or that because I don't have enough money at this moment. And it's not because I don't have enough money. It could be because I don't want to again spend what I saved. And when do I say no? I'm in, count me in, even if I don't have whatever it is now. So these would be the three words that would describe how it is to be financially independent.
So priority. This is at 17 because you started this journey at 17. Well, so let's start from the beginning, right? How did this whole journey even start? This financial independent journey. Like what triggered it? I'm sure you didn't wake up one morning and go like, okay, I'm gonna be financially independent, right? Like what
Very
started
true.
it off?
And it took steps and it took time and it took progress. And I say it all started when, again, back then when I was too young and I've always felt that I'm being, way behind people that I'm interested to talk with and have conversations with. I used to be included in all student activities I would be in, to a point where people come and tell me, Farida, you're spreading yourself too thin. But this is where I thought, what, maybe I can, put more time into extracurricular activities. And this would make me, qualified enough to have my very first minimum pay job. So I was encouraged back then when I already have some experience. I've dealt with international organizations. I've done financial sheets for big companies, or I've handled. I was a PR person that handled international guests from A to Z. Yes, I was doing that. I wasn't paid, obviously, but this is where it started. So then I felt motivated. You know what? Let's take it to another level. So I
So
would say
hold
this is
on,
the
Farida,
exact
hold on.
moment where
So
it
let's
happened.
go back to the time where you said, of course, but I wasn't paid, right? So are you saying to me when you first started, you were not paid, so you went in willingly to learn? Would you say that?
Yes, definitely.
So you're telling the audience right now you don't immediately get paid, right?
Never. No,
It
doesn't
doesn't
work like
happen
that.
overnight. So can
No,
you
no.
maybe share with us a specific one of the jobs, the specific ones, maybe at 17 when you first started, right? What was the first
Yeah.
thing that you joined? What was the first thing that, what are the first few things that you joined? Maybe give us one example, perhaps.
Yeah, I remember it very well. My first paid job was I was organizing an event, and it was related to one of the ministries here in Egypt. It was a huge event, and then they took me out for organizing. I was welcoming all higher education ministers that came from the MENA region, so it was quite huge. And I was only paid for 3 days. Those 3 days I went in the event, I was paid on daily basis. It was very small, yet I felt like I was over the moon, and oh my God, I just had my first paid job. It was, and from there I knew that events were like, no, I like that. I want to
You
continue into
enjoy
doing
doing
it,
it,
and that's what
yeah.
I did. Yeah, and that's why I was saying discovery path. I have worked in so many places without being paid, just for the sake of learning and discovering. Then first moment, you feel this spark when this is the thing that I love to do. And this is when at 17 I knew that it's mass communications and everything that falls under the communications that I love to do. I want to socialize with people, speak with them, be that PR person, or be that guest relation person, or be that one that is organizing. And I like to be such a hard worker when it comes to the things that I passionate about. So when my passion hit and I knew what I love, I knew straightforward I need to continue into that path up until I could be independent. So no, it doesn't take a day and a night up until you can do that. It takes a long, long.
That's a good point to note, right? It doesn't take a day. It doesn't take a few
Mm,
days. Probably it took you some time, right? But that
mm,
whole discovery phase, that exploring phase, really helped you so much, right? Because it gave you that clarity to know what you want. And let me be honest, right? A lot of us who have been working for 10, 15 years have no clue what we want to do because
mm,
we didn't go through that experience. We didn't take time to explore, right? You have an assumption in your head, I want to do this course because I think this is what the course is. But when you decided to enroll for mass comm, you know exactly what it's all about because you lived it.
yeah,
Would you say
true.
that? You
Yes,
lived
definitely.
it, right? And I like the fact that at that age, at 17 years old, you already had that presence of mind to say, hey, I'm going to discover and I'm going to see. And I'm sure there were some things you didn't love, right?
Yeah.
You didn't love
All
it.
the time. Oh my God, yes, yes, and doing that with school wasn't easy. So
Yeah.
I would go through bad experiences and things that I would say, oh, I should have not done that. Then I come to myself and at least I knew I'm never going back there. Like I tried, for example, real estate work. Man, 1 week,
Wow.
1 week, and then I was like, no, no,
No, this is
no,
not
this
my
is not
thing.
me. So yeah, I do regret the experience and I don't like it, but then I get back to myself. You know what? Now I know I'm never going back there. I'm good. Thank
But
you.
at least knowing what you don't like tells you
Yes,
you're closer to what you like in a way, right?
exactly. Yes, it helps. It all connects with each other.
Okay, very, very interesting. But was there a particular catalyst that brought you to that point where you said, financial independence is my thing? Like a particular moment was there? Like, because you talk about this whole mountain climbing thing, right? Did
Yeah.
this event have an impact on, thinking of being financially independent?
Yeah, it was when I was, I'm not struggling with my parents anywhere financially. I'm thankful and I'm blessed with all the support all the time. But then, this moment when I saved my first ever bulk, and then I went into a very small trip for a couple of days with my friends, and I didn't feel bad about me taking money from my parents or me spending it or how am I managing it. So I knew that managing my money at a young age will help me grow at a young age.
Mhm,
So I wanted
mhm,
to take this path and I wanted to take this responsibility in order to give myself the space to grow. I want to go through this dilemma where you feel anxious and you have to learn whether you like it or not because you're into it. There's no going back. I wanted to do this before I become an actual adult. So then when I grow up and I finish and I graduate, I could handle myself and I get my things together. So like I don't have anything to do now. It's just my studies. It's just this responsibility. So why not add some more with some passion, spice? You know?
Add some
I'm doing
spice.
something that I love.
Okay.
Yeah,
But that's
as simple as
interesting
it
that
is.
you say that because, as you know, I teach in a local university, and a lot of students say, "Oh my God, I got so many assignments to do. Life is so hard as a student." So, what do you say to that?
To be honest, I'm one of those students who don't think that the university has ever made me anxious. I don't recall. Why? Because again, I I might be stressed because I have three assignments that have to be submitted in 2 weeks. Yes,
Yeah,
but this is part of life. This is where you get to experience again to handle yourself because when you become an adult, you're going to have so much more than just three assignments in 3 weeks. You're going to get into that. So and again, I do enjoy what I study. So when it comes hard on me, I don't mind because I'm working hard and I'm very tired, but then I'm doing something that I love. So it's all right. It's worth it. So I don't. I to be honest, I
yeah.
don't think that
That's amazing.
university
That's
has ever
great
made me
insight. So Abhirami says, well said, Farida. I think everyone should have some sense of responsibility from a young age to manage the future. And I think it's very brilliant that you had the presence of mind and you continue to persevere, even though people are saying things, which is normal, I guess. Everywhere we go, there are always people, regardless of your age group. If you're 15 or 16, they're going to say, how come you're so young? When you're older, they're going to say, why are you so old? There are always going to be people saying all
There's
kinds of
always
things,
something.
right?
Yep. Yep.
That's normal. So before we
Mm.
go into our next question, right, I want to just say hi to all the audience. We have Joanne Tay here. We have Udesh Chaska. Udesh Chaska was from, remember the conference we had, the Me conference back, I
Yeah.
think this is 2 years ago in March,
Yes,
right?
and I do remember it was one of my
We
favorite
have
events that I had in my
Karishma.
life.
We have Saranya, Huisan Hai, Anis, Lawrence,
Nice.
Sam, Christine, we have
Hi
Sukhjit, Dr.
everyone.
Sukhjit, Evelyn, thank you very much. Okay, Abhi says, I'm wondering, this is an interesting question, right? How do you even manage your time while you're trying to be financially independent?
I don't have an exact plan to tell you, okay? It's just I just go with the flow. And I don't know. It's just I'm not as organized as you might think I am because I'm not. But then, I always put myself into, is this worth me not having enough sleep or not? And I always think about it that way. There has to be a way out. It I always think, it's a mindset. Like I get to think of myself, studies are my priority now. Okay. Along with that, I want to keep up my social life, my work life, me being, you know, um, financially stable and stuff. I don't know, but this is how my mind works. There has to be some way out. So if my classes start at 2 a.m. and I finish at 10 a.m., so I plan, okay, I don't have enough sleep. So I'll go to work, I'll finish work and I go sleep. Okay. And then I wake up to my classes. And then I think again, okay, today my classes only start at 9 a.m., which is a good timing, which means I'm gonna sleep today. And then I wake up and then I go to work if I need to. Or maybe I could manage some projects online. So now I don't do physical office working
Yeah.
hours. It doesn't work with me. So I do only project based or KPI based work.
So
So
it's
you
very
tell
ad
me what
hoc,
you
right?
want.
You take
Yeah.
the job
So you
as it comes. You finish, then you move on to the next. Is it?
exactly project based. So I finish my classes at 10, say, and then I sleep up until afternoon, and then I wake up for my meetings, for example, if I need to, and so on.
Yeah.
So I finish 2 3 months, finish the project, and then it's all about networking. I don't seek. Maybe I would reach someone if I'm like interested somewhere. And this is one of the things that I always tell people: if you're interested to work in an organization, or you want to be mentored by someone, go tell them. It's fine, and it's also okay if they tell you no. Like, but there has to be always a way. So yeah, managing my time is basically around how I manage on daily basis. I have to deal with what I'm gonna do. So I know that I have certain responsibilities. There are things that has to be done today. There are things that no, I can postpone. For example, when it comes to my classes, say we have a presentation. I know the presentation is at 6 a.m. By hook or crook, it has to be finished, even if it's like 5:50, 45. But then my group by the time of the class, they have to sign you finished everything, even if it's the last minute. But then I'm doing it well and on time, and I'm not having any late deadlines. And by the way, I never had late deadlines. But then there's always a way. I know, for example, that I'm going back home today and I have an exam in the morning, but I want to sleep. I'll sleep for 3, 4 hours, and then I wake up and then I study, and so on. So it's usually, how you just make it work because you have, commitment. I need to do this because if I don't, I'm gonna fall out, and I don't want to fall out. Because if
It's
I
very
fell out, I'm not gonna feel
purposeful,
good about
right,
myself.
Farida?
Yeah,
It's very purposeful. You know what you want, and you're
yeah.
targeting it based on that, right? I know I want this, and you said something about how you're always asking yourself the question, right? Can I do this? What do I want from it? And I think these self-reflective questions are actually very, very important. So I wanna go on to our next question, right? Talking about it's when someone comes and tells you something like this, right? Yeah, Farida, it's you, your life might be different, things might be easy. So I want people to have, a bit of understanding of the process, right? Can you tell us what are some challenges? We have one question here from Huisan, right? She says, what support you to continue even though the pathway is hard? And I think this directs to my question on challenges, right? What are some challenges that you have gone through, right, in that journey of wanting to be financially independent?
I would say I'm someone who suffers from panic attacks, and I do have panic attacks. I break down when I'm way too stressed or I'm anxious about something and I can't manage it. I suck at numbers, by the way. I'm really, really bad at numbers. So I would break down because I've been, for example, for 2 months, I've been ongoing between work I have to do, replying to messages, also managing my social media has been very challenging because I want to grow in a certain way to, make sure that I'm secure in different, fields. Um, so I would go into jobs that I really wanted to go for, and then they don't only reject me. I've had like terrible experiences. I remember this one time I was in an organization that I've been working with. It's an international, it's very well known, and I've been very happy. I've been there for 4 years, and then it started to be very toxic on me, and I had to let it go because I was attached, so I was bearing the toxicity. When I did let go, I decided to reach out somewhere else that I really wanted to work with. It supports women and stuff. It was something that I was really interested in. And I remember I called the CEO. She was a friend of mine, and I told her I want to work at your company. I'm very passionate, and I'm sorry that I turned your offer down like for a couple of months ago because I was working in that other organization that I left. And you know what happened? Like I met the new boss. I sat with her. She was like, "Okay, you're accepted. You're in. We would love to have you on team. Come next Sunday. Our weekend ends at Saturday, so Friday and Saturday. Come next Sunday. Attend. We're very happy to have you on board. It's a very good, something very good for my career." Everything was so nice. I was so happy, and I was yes. Finally, I let go of this toxic place, and I'm in a new place. So somewhere happened where my previous manager knew that I left her and I went to this other organization. So what she did is she picked up the phone and she told the new manager that I have stole more than $10,000 from her. And she called me back again and she said, someone called and said you did this, this, and that. I'm sorry, that's a mess. Even if you didn't do that, but I couldn't have someone that has, this kind of background or whatever. So I'm sorry. I hope you find somewhere else. This broke my heart. This was very recent, by the way. This broke me. Like all I did is literally I've been there for a very long time, and I only let it go because I was feeling very bad about not being able to do anything in my life just because I work with you. So it was very hard, and I kept telling myself like I was tired, and sometimes I'm not gonna be able to keep telling myself it's okay, it's gonna be all right, it's all sugary. It doesn't work like that. Um, so yeah, bad things happen, and I waited, and I keep on trying to grow, and I keep on trying to learn. So taking your time into giving your emotions the space to digest in whatever is happening around you and you feel overwhelmed, especially when you have responsibilities. I couldn't pay my phone bill for 2 months just because of this. I didn't have anything to work at. There's no place. I was very stressed out. But then I had to give myself the space to be sad a little bit, just focus on my studies for now, and then we see how it works then. So it's fine. Take it slow. Give your emotions the time and space it's needed, and move on. Again, I'm just trying to learn how life goes on from a young age, because I know when I grow up, there are gonna be so much more than what I'm facing right now, and
Yeah.
way bigger problems than just kicked out from a place that I wanted to work out. So, but then you practice, you exercise life. That's basically how you work.
That's amazing. I like what you said about, hey, bad things happen. Guys, that's a
Mm.
fact of life, whether you like it or not. It's like running an event, right, Farida? No matter how much you plan, you can put everything, you can account for everything, think of what could possibly happen, and
Oh my
you
God,
having
yes.
done events before, you would be able to relate, right? Somehow something will happen, and you just need to know how to deal with it at that point of time and think on your feet. And another good point, I think, from what you said was that you need to feel that emotions, right? You need to acknowledge it. Hey, you can't just say, fine, did that, so what? I just move on and I'll do
And
something
then
else.
drag and move on. No, this is not how it works.
You need to feel it. You need to experience that emotions, acknowledge it, right? And say, yes, I'm upset. Yes, this has happened. Yes, I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling good about myself. But that's half the battle, right? When you do that, you can move on. But if you don't acknowledge it and you think like, oh, I'm fine, that's when it starts hitting you back, right? So wow, Farida. All this at that point of time, it's amazing how you are thinking and reflecting on things as it goes along, right? So we have quite a lot of people bringing some questions.
Mm.
Just want to bring some of the comments before we go into the questions. So Udesh says, one quote I particularly like and agree is that one should always be able to know what you want to do even before choosing an academia course. It's always thorough hard work and persistence. That is so true. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, a lot of us have no clue when we join academia, right? So that's fantastic advice, what you said about exploring, right? Something we should do.
yeah,
At least we know what we want to do. And
yes.
Christine says,
Give yourself the opportunity to discover more about yourself before you take like decisions. It's huge. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a big step, right? And you're spending
Yeah.
like a lot
Yeah.
of money as well on
Yes.
your
Money,
education.
time, energy. You could just take the path of discovery from before you do whatever you do, and you're going to have those bad days, but it's way better than choosing what you wanted to do, spend all the money and time and energy, and then you feel like, oh, I should have not done that.
No? Yeah, definitely. So Christine Chan says, I think that is extremely lucky for people who knew what they wanted from the start. I want you to comment on that, right? Because many
Mm.
may not know what they want even after a long time. So do you think you were lucky to know what you wanted to do?
To be honest, no, no. I just chose that I have to be determined to take whatever it takes, whatever energy, whatever cries in bed before I sleep, whatever time, whatever sleepless nights, up until I know what I want to do. So again, it's a mindset. It's how you want to take things and be committed to a goal, certain goal, even if it's an emotional goal that you want to achieve. We can sit and do our academics and keep on, for example, not doing anything and just focusing on our studies and saying, oh, I haven't discovered what I wanted to do yet. If you give yourself the time and the space and the patience and the dedication into knowing what you want to do, you will go there. You will do it.
So time, space, dedication. So you
Yeah.
have to do before you know what you want. Is that
Yeah.
what you would say? You have to do before knowing what you want.
Yes.
So
That's art, my dog.
I think we have someone from probably from Cairo. So just to give some
Egypt. Yes.
context to everyone,
Thank you, Amma.
uh, Farida actually is not in Malaysia right now. Farida, where are you? You want to tell them?
I'm in Cairo, Egypt. I'm 6 hours behind Malaysia.
Yeah,
It's
and that's why when she was explaining about the time she wakes up for classes, the classes are like what, 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
mm,
in the morning, right? And she's managing that time zone issue as well while she's having classes, right? So Omar says, Farida, super proud of you. Abi Rami also says, it's part of the process. Okay. Vasan says hi, hello. And Joanne
I
T says she's so
thank
proud of
you,
you,
thank you,
Farida.
thank you, thank you.
So it's so lovely to hear about the challenges that you were talking about, right? So I'm going to ask you a little bit of a tough question here. One of my commenters from LinkedIn actually brought this question up, right? She said, "Is it important to be financially independent at such a young age? Is it necessary to put this amount of pressure on a young person to earn money?"
Big no, no. This is a very critical. Thank you for bringing this up. This is very critical because I don't want people to feel overwhelmed that maybe you're 30 something, or maybe you have already graduated, or whatever it is, and you're still depending on your parents anyhow financially, because you don't have to feel pressured just because there's this random girl that is doing this at a very young age. This means that you have to do this. I don't want anyone to feel pressured that they have to do this, because no, it's not necessary. At the very end of the day, our families are responsible to bring you up and be financially responsible towards you up until you finish your academia and go on with your life, even if you haven't had your opportunity into having work after your graduation. Still, it is required from oral families, if they can, of course, afford, and if they're able to do, is to support you. And support includes emotional and financial, or elsewise um, support their kids. So no, it's not necessary at all. Yet it's an additional experience to your self development. It's something that acts on you. If you are able to do that, if you want to do that, maybe the only reason could just not because I wanted to, lift up a bit. I don't want to be a financial burden on my parents because I have three other siblings, or that,
Yeah.
or that, or any of it. It could be just because I want to grow, and just because I want to take this path from young age, or maybe your any age from now on, just for the sake of you learning the process of growing up. It's you growing up not by number of age, but you as yourself. It's as simple as that. So no, it's not necessary at all.
So it's like you're building your mansion, but instead of just, it's not about money at the end of the day, right? It's about building that experiences, that block of experiences. Like you're building your mansion, but instead of it being a mansion like out of money, it is a mansion out of growth, right?
You
Experiences, mistakes, challenges that you probably would never have experienced until later on in life. That probably would have been harder, right?
you falling out and learning that you must get up. There's no option. You have to get up. So this is also part of the process. You like up until I knew that I have to give my emotions its time and space and so on to be able to get over whatever challenges I'm facing. It took me like 13 times. I was doing it wrong. I was putting it under the rug, and I wanted to move on just for the sake of, oh, I can't fall down now. Like, I have things to do. I have work to get done. I have school that I want to finish. So it took me 13 times doing it wrong up until I started to learn, you know what? Now, when I'm 20, when bad things happen, I told, like, this between me and myself, I'm going to give my emotions time it needs. I'm going to give myself the space. And respectfully, if people around me could understand that and help me out through that, it's all you need. So it is part of the process. It is part of you growing up, spiritually, emotionally, having more intelligence, I guess, about yourself, getting to discover more about yourself and helping yourself out. So it's very significant.
So we're heading towards the end of our show, right? The last two questions, right? So if I'm a young person, obviously I'm not a young person, but if I'm a young person, a lot of people tuning in are young, right? how do I start myself on this journey? Like, what is like one of the first few steps I should take? I know you talked about school activities, right? But what is one of the first steps I can take towards this financial independence, like to start off the journey, to kickstart?
I would say there has to be sort of techniques into you need to sort out first, okay, if I'm financially independent, what are the responsibilities that I have towards myself? Up and then after you had your discovery path and you know what you like to do and what you don't like to do. For example, if I want to save up money for something that I want to do, there's this famous quote that says you save up and then don't spend, then save. So if I have, let's say, 100 ringgits or Egyptian pounds, for those who are watching us, don't spend and then what's left you save it. Don't do that. So what I always did is I saved the money, okay, because I have a certain goal, for example, or I don't. Like I've been saving up for like
Yeah.
2 years and I don't have a certain goal. So I save up and then I spend. And I deal with whatever I saved up as if it's not there. It's not there. Unless there's a huge event or I don't know, it could be you want to buy a PlayStation, it's fine, it's okay. Whatever it is, I'm gonna break it. As I said at the beginning of the session, I'm gonna break my pig and take the money. So yeah, financial independence would come from you managing not only the money but also your experience. If you don't have, for example, currently, if you don't have any paid jobs, at least go through projects that you're not paid of, but then you're learning something new, you're adding up to your skills, you're adding up to your experience, so then you would be qualified by the time you finish to another, higher level job or somewhere would you be qualified for. So just keep on focus on growing, I would say. It's not just about the finances itself. It could be about you yourself relating to becoming financially independent. So yeah, if you don't have a job, if you because I'm saying I usually do projects, right? It doesn't always have to be I finished the project yesterday and then I'm gonna find a new one the next day. I would stay a couple of weeks, months, whatever. I don't have anything to do. During that time, I go volunteer and try attend events and conferences, listen to people, listen to what they say, learn, get mentored, focus on my studies a little bit because it's interesting and I love what I study. Keep on moving. Don't let the wheel stop. By that, you're gonna be financially
Be
independent and
stagnant,
do whatever
right?
it is. Yeah.
Interesting, definitely interesting. So she says it's about experience, right? It's about building yourself. Growth is not just about finance. And I guess when you talk about building yourself and take jobs and don't expect money in the beginning, right? It's kind of you building your credibility, right? You're young, you just started off. You can't go like, okay, I demand this amount of money. You haven't showed me what you're capable of. So what you are doing is you're building your credibility. So by the time you've built your credibility by volunteering and doing things like that, people already trust you and go like, yeah, Farida has done this for me before. She's worked here, she's worked there, she's done this project, she's done that project. So you have that ability to even be able to say, hey, I can do this. It's not just out of trust me, I've done the work, right? So
Yeah.
I like what you have to say about that. And Norhan Mohammed says, I don't have any activities in school that can help me to have experience. So where can I go? I'm 16.
Google is your best friend. Google is your best friend. I swear. Use Google to search up the activities that you have around. It doesn't have to be a school. I think you're basically based in Cairo. If you are, you have a lot of other schools that have activities that welcome students that don't come from the same school. You have universities that welcomes school or high school students. You have a lot. So Google is your best friend. Use Google to search whatever field that you're interested in. You could find science extra clubs at random universities. So use Google as your best friend and search up and like the page, follow the pages that they might don't have
Yeah.
any current vacancies, but then you're going to find in the future. So yeah, Nurhan, use Google and yeah, I swear it's wow. I've My life hasn't been dependent on it up to now. I use it to search up every and each opportunity I would find along my way. So yeah,
And there's so many opportunities out there. You just got to look for it. It doesn't have to be in your
yeah,
school, like what Farida says. Think
yes,
big, think outside. Can be
yeah,
anywhere, right? And now with the whole pandemic, a lot of projects have gone online. So you can
online.
work from anywhere around the world, right? That's the beauty of it. So
Mm.
we have some comments. Mala is saying I'm quite young. I'm glad, Mala. And Abi says, so proud of you, Farida. The way you see life just astonished me. Thanks for sharing your experience. It's very inspiring. So
Thank you so much, Abby.
so last words before we close for the night. Um, what is one advice we would give young people tuning in today? One advice you would give them from this? You're now 20, am I right, Farida? You're 20 years old right
Yes.
now. So the 3 years since you started this whole journey, right? If you could give, if you could give them some advice, what is one thing you would say is a must for them to know when they start this journey and they embark on this journey?
That's very interesting because it might differ from a person to another, but something I would tell people to do with themselves. Um, it's better to do things in life than regret it than rather than not doing it at all. So don't be scared of discovering whatever it is that you're interested into doing. I have this friend of mine that loved drawing characters, and he was with me at high school, and we kept telling him, "Go pitch Marvel. Tell them that you do this." And God bless, God bless, God bless. He now works as cartoon caricature at Netflix. He does it, and he's very young. He's very young. So don't be afraid into reaching out for what you love and trying it out. You're going to fall out a lot of times, and it's fine. But then, as long as you might not have the energy. But then someone was asking a while ago, what pushes you through these challenges? It's my passion. My passion. Like, I know what I want to do. So whenever I fall out and I try to get up again, I would tell myself, Farida, focus back the why. There's this famous golden circle that they always teach at school. The why. Why am I doing this? If you keep reminding yourself and push yourself through, you're going to enjoy the process even when you fall out.
I like that. What I would take from you is I know what I want to do, the why part, right? So, guys, what is
Mm.
most important is knowing your purpose, because knowing your purpose is like having a compass showing you the right direction, right? So, you know where to go next, where to go next, where to go next. And how you find that purpose, Farida has mentioned, right? Explore. Go out there and explore. You don't have to, in your head, you have this imagination of this is what a person does, this is what you can read up on it, but reading up is not the same as going out there and exploring. So go out there and explore. All right. Thank you so much to everyone that has been tuning in for the last 38 minutes or so. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Farida, for coming on board, and talking to all of us about your journey. I'm very inspired by you, and I hope a lot of other young people will be inspired by your journey, your thoughts, your experiences. Ani says, thank you for the insightful session. Love seeing fellow youths who are courageous enough to discover new things and do what they love. And for those of you who are still figuring out how to find your purpose, I will be doing a workshop on finding your purpose on the 7th of November. Okay, on the 7th of November, finding your purpose. And this will be in line with the GES Summit, the Global Empowerment Summit with Andrea Zapka. So do check out the Global Empowerment Summit with Andrea Zapka. She's on LinkedIn, she's on Facebook, she's everywhere, she's on Instagram as well. And come join the workshop if you haven't figured that out yet. All right, I will share the details later on in the comment section. And thank you very much. So, Frida, any last words before we say goodnight to everybody?
Thank you so much into bringing this together. I'm very happy that we've done this. I'm very happy that we spoke about this. I've enjoyed those last 38 minutes or 40 minutes that we've done. Thank you everyone for that has been tuning in. If anyone wants to reach out to ask any questions, I would love to. You can always reach me out. I'm gonna reply right away. Here's my LinkedIn and my Instagram. And yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Good night, guys. Bye.
Bye.